Let's welcome in our special guest, Zach Wolchuk, alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus on today's TV call with Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, and the great Tom Rinaldi. It's Dean Blandino. Dean, how are you? Thanks for giving us some time this afternoon.
I'm doing well. Always good to catch up with you guys.
So is the tush-push the question that you are most annoyed by right now? Or are you just sick and tired of talking about this play?
I am definitely sick and tired of talking about it, but hey, when the Eagles are playing the Cowboys, there's going to be some tush-push conversation. I get it. But again, we'll see. We'll see what happens today and the rest of the season, and maybe we can focus on some other things other than the tush-push, you know?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Dean, all right, we'll put that to a side. We had Stephen Jones on Friday. And Stephen, as you know, competition committee guy, I asked him to explain the free kick onside kick that the Raiders ran on Monday night, and he couldn't do it. So I'm asking you, as a rules expert, please explain, can you walk us through, could Pickens fair caught that ball and it would have been everything fine, or what's the ruling on these things?
It's an interesting play because you don't see that very often, right? You have a safety, so now we have a safety kick. And one of the options on a safety kick is a punt, where you don't have that option on a normal kickoff. So a normal onside kick, you're not able to punt. Because it was a safety kick, they're able to punt. And then it's just, once you punt the ball in the air, all the normal rules would apply. So Pickens could have fair caught it. I mean, there's fair catch interference. All of those rules kick in on that punt versus when, you know, the normal onside kick where you either kick it into the ground or pooch it, whatever you're trying to do.
What do you think about some of the new rules that they've put in with the onside kick? And then some of the suggestions of, do we just get rid of this? Do we just do a 4th and 20 situation? Because it's become darn near impossible to be able to field an onside kick.
It really has. With all of the kickoff changes, that play is, right now it's probably about 5% success rate on onside kicks, which is a very low number. And the onside kick is a very important play in the game, because if you don't have a viable option, you're down multiple scores with 3 or 4 minutes left. You're not able to come back. So I think the league will continue to look at it. The Eagles actually proposed something a couple of years ago, that 4th down option, that alternative. I think that's something, it's interesting. I do like the keeping the onside kick in, but you're going to need to figure out as a competition committee, how can we get it to maybe a 10%, 12%, 13% play versus, under 5%.
All right, Dean, I when I was in the league, I always studied your officials. I studied them. I know these guys. Bill Vinovich used to let me play a little bit, but now Bill Vinovich is like week 2. We had the game here with the Giants. It was a lot of things going on. Bill Vinovich, to me, when I said his name, he was like, now the players are going to decide this one. Why is Bill Vinovich in the top 4 in calls this year? What's happened to my guy?
It is interesting because Bill is one of those referees. He's one of the best referees in the league.
No question.
And he manages the game very well. And that's a big part of, it's not just throwing flags, it's managing the game, making sure it flows well. We don't have a lot of unnecessary stoppages. And that game, that Giants game, from that perspective was brutal. I mean, there were however many flags, and that is a very un-Bill Vinovich game. And look, it's not just Bill, though, right? You have 6 other officials that are on that crew and that, are responsible for other areas. Again, you want the 2 teams to decide the game. You want the 2 teams to decide how many fouls there are, right? Don't be overly technical. And again, you can't just let them play. People say that, and it's like, well, if you let them play, then somebody's going to get away with something. But draw the line, make sure it's consistent, and Bill does a really good job, and I'm anticipating that today. I think it's going to be a well-officiated, well-played game.
I love Bill Vinovich. I do. I love the way that he officiated, because he didn't take any crap from anybody either. I mean, he's a both-ways guy, but he'll let you hammer it out, and it won't be final 2 minutes, oh, my gosh, there's a holding call. How did that happen? He'll let you finish the game. Okay, I want to ask you something now about, I've noticed more officials when it comes to delay of game. Like, they're not letting you some of these officials are getting 1.5 delay game calls a game now. Is it something that the league has looked at, or is it they talk about that, or is it just crew to crew?
I think it's just crew to crew. Delay of game has always been that situation where you have the back judge who's the deep official in the middle of the field that's watching the play clock.
Right.
They watch it go to 0, then they have to look to see if the ball's moving. It's not a foul. There's always going to be a slight delay between that in that mechanic. And again, the delay game fouls I think they are up this year. I'm not sure if that's just an operation thing with the clubs, if we're just not being as efficient as we need to be. There hasn't been a point of emphasis with delay games. You certainly don't want a lot of pre-snap fouls. That's not something anybody really wants. So you certainly don't want to be overly technical. And again, I think that's just something the league and the competition committee at the end of the year, they look at and figure out, okay, do we need to change something? Do we need to address this going forward?
Dean Blandino with us here on the official pregame show of your Dallas Cowboys here on 105.3 The Fan. So one of the points of emphasis this year was the taunting. We've seen George Pickens got flagged recently for that. How did that come about as wanting to emphasize trying to eliminate the taunting this year?
This was a big discussion topic during the offseason, and the league looked at, and they had this data that said that unsportsmanlike conduct was up, whether that's gestures, whether that's verbal. There was more in-your-face stuff, and the league really wanted to kind of clamp down on that because that, again, that's what trickles down to whether it's the college game or high school, youth football, and you're trying to make sure that we're setting the best example. So the league said, hey, we've got to really strictly enforce this, and we've seen it. And sometimes whenever you have that kind of point of emphasis, sometimes maybe you watch a specific play or action, you're like, well, that's kind of, maybe that's not the intent. But I think the league will live with that if the overall sportsmanship improves, which that's the goal, right? Player safety, sportsmanship, those are really two of the priorities from an officiating perspective.
Dean, he had the penalty unsportsmanlike for jumping on the goalpost. We've eliminated the spike over the goalpost. Is the league worried about knocking the goalpost out of skew? Is that why we're getting these calls? What's the reason that we're not allowed to do this anymore?
I think, well, with the goalpost, they consider that a prop, right? You can go back. You can go back during the day. And I mean, we were, TO with the pom poms and all the there's a fun element to that. But the problem is, it's like, okay, if we don't draw the line somewhere, where does it end? And that's so I think the goalpost, that's a prop. You can use the football as a prop, that's okay. But once you start to use something else, but like you said, there have been. I remember Tony Gonzalez used to dunk over and then the upright would be skewed, and now you gotta. So I think it's twofold. I think but the initial thing is you can't use a prop other than the football, and that's what they're trying to just kind of again prevent.
Okay, Dean, you mentioned props. It's red kettle season. I know you're standing there looking at one right now on the field. Is that considered a prop if we jump in there now? Or are we promoting the game? It would be. Okay.
It would be. Unfortunately, it's a great cause, but again, it would be considered a prop. So,
Dean, when it comes to the issue that happened, of course, with the Dez catch, no catch, and I'm sorry for bringing this up.
Always.
Yeah, but at the time it happened, did you feel like, okay, this is something that's going to be brought up and talked about at the NFL forever? It's always going to be circled back. Did you know it would be as controversial as it was?
I knew it would be controversial. I knew as soon as Coach McCarthy threw the challenge flag.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be controversial because look, it's the Cowboys and Packers. It's a playoff game. It's 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's a close game. And it was the catch rule has been debated, and there's no perfect rule. I knew the rule at the time. We applied the rule the way it was supposed to be applied. In a different world with a different rule, do I think that should be a catch? Absolutely. But we applied the rule. We made it incomplete. We knew, however it ended up, it was going to be controversial. And Cowboys fans will never let me live that down. And that's fine. And that's fine. We have that relationship, and I love the Cowboys fans and the fan base, and that'll always be our connection.
Dean, I was literally standing 10 feet away when that ball was caught. I was on the sidelines right there for DallasCowboys.com. And I wish I would have got the official's name to that side because he marked it a catch. He was doing his job. I mean, he saw the whole.
He took 3 steps and extended the ball to the goal
And you're
line.
right, but when McCarthy threw the flag, and McCarthy's the only one he got right all year. The only one he got right all year. But that official that side, I wish I would have known who that gentleman was because he got it right.
His name was Terry Brown. His name was Terry Brown.
Terry Brown is a
You can
damn
give a
good
shout
man.
out to Terry Brown.
Terry
for
Brown,
making
great
that call. And then
great
for
call.
me and Gene Sterator for screwing it up. There you go.
There you go. Well, yeah, Terry Brown will always go down as a gentleman who knows how to officiate a game in my book.
Well, Gene will always be remembered for the index card as well on that Sunday night against
the
Raiders.
The index card.
He did get some good graces.
He helped us back there.
He certainly did. Dean, how tough? I feel like you've got a very challenging job because everybody's always going to be pointing the fingers at these calls. And when they throw it to you, do you feel somewhat of a responsibility, like I've got to protect my guys because officiating's so hard? But then also, if you do see something and you think they've messed it up, you got to be honest about it.
No question. Look, my job is to analyze the play, present it in a way where people can understand the rule, how it's being looked at, what the officials are seeing, and I've got to give my opinion. And I think I never take it as, well, I've got to protect the officials, but I can be respectful and I can do it in a constructive way where, hey, I don't agree with this call. I think it should be this, but here's what the official looked at, here's what they thought they saw, and you can do it in more of a constructive way versus just being overly critical. And I think you try to walk that line and find that balance, but I absolutely have to give my opinion, and if I disagree with it, I'm going to say it.
Dean, thank you so much. You're fantastic, man. We always love getting to talk with you. Have a tremendous call, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
There he goes, Dean Blandino, of course, part of the crew today on Fox with Kevin Burkhardt.
It's a hard job.
Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi. It is.
They throw it to him, and he does a good job of explaining.
I think he does the best.
He does better than some of these officials that actually you're like going, well, that's not terrible.
Yeah.
How'd you miss that? Dean does a really good job of explaining all that.
All right, Cowboys, Eagles, counting down to kickoff here from the Miller Lite West Plaza at AT&T Stadium. This place is getting busy. Just over 2 hours to kick off. Here's Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout, Brian Broaddus, 877-881-1053. What you cooking up today? What are your game predictions? We got our buddy Tim in Carthage, 27-24. Cowboys. Also go UNT. Oh, we got our first boo. We got our first boo from the Kelly Green in the Barclays shirt.
I respect the Reggie White one.
I do too.
I respect the Reggie White one. That gentleman right there, he knew what he was doing when he came to the ball game today.
Yep. That's a traditional old school throwback right there.
Yep.
And
there's a Jerome Brown. See, there's another one. Those two dudes are together. They knew what they were doing when they come to the game. I don't like the Eagles, but I respect those two players.
Well, and we've got
if we get a Brian Dawkins walking in there, I don't know what we got there. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, pointing at the Super Bowl champion, Jalen Carter jersey. Hey, keep his saliva to himself today, okay? Let's see if he can at least play the game before we can get this.
That guy looks like
off.
he can play himself.
He does.
That 98 stretched pretty wide on that body.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun. I always look. Cowboys, Eagles, there's nothing like it. A glorious, beautiful day here in Arlington as we get set for kickoff. All right, let's go. We'll talk with Joseph Newgarden, who is an IndyCar champion. He's going to join us on the other side. We'll continue to break down all of this, get you set for kickoff here on 105.3 The Fan.
Hi, it's Pete Thompson from the Consumer Team. Every year,
about 2 hours until kick here at AT&T Stadium. Doors are open. People are flooding in to the stadium, and we are hanging out here in the Miller Lite West Plaza right by the lighthouse, the Miller Lighthouse, and it's awesome, man. The vibes are immaculate. It is a gorgeous afternoon for football here on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout, Brian Broaddus. It couldn't be better. It's Cowboys-Eagles, one of the best rivalries in all of the National Football League, and a game the Cowboys have to have if they want hopes of playing into January. Right now, some interesting scores across the league, Brian. It's tied at 14. Steelers playing in Chicago against the Bears. But the Giants, they were up 17-7 on the Lions. Lions just scored, so now it's 17-14. Jameis Winston getting the start with Jackson Dart out with another concussion. He's got 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, and you know, but it's going to be Giants playing well, Giants playing close,
and then
Giants find a way to lose the game at the end. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And yeah, Jameis is going to. That's what he's going to do. Jameis Winston is going to bring you like a high level of play, and he's going to cause problems. He's going to make some incredible throws. He's going to move around the pocket. He's going to scramble for a play or two. But then all of a sudden, then at the end of the game, they're going to have a drive, and he's going to do something that's probably going to cost you to lose the game.
And nearing half, Chiefs are driving. It's second down and goal at the Colts 4. That's who the Cowboys are playing on Thanksgiving in just a few days. But Indy leading Kansas City 14-6 on the road. And that would put the Chiefs below 500 at 5-6 if they're not able to come back. Certainly have an opportunity here to score going into half. Maybe they even go for 2, so this could be a tie game. But one we will be monitoring as well, as we've got a lot of people rolling by saying hello to us. 877-881-1053 to give your game day thoughts and predictions. Also, what you cooking up, as we've got our Meat Church menu of the day. Of course, we had our guy Robert in Carrollton. He's doing the duck that he's smoking right now. He's also doing the Philly cheesesteaks with peppers and onions. And then we've got dueling cheesesteaks. But the 229's doing the Texas cheesesteak burritos. They're going to have fresh brisket, provolone and cheddar, sauteed onions, bell peppers. That's Craig in Durango, who they call the hockey professor. So between those two, Craig and Durango, the Texas cheesesteak burrito, or your Philly cheesesteaks and smoked duck, for Robert and Carrollton, Brian, who are we going with?
I'll tell you what, though, the duck is an interesting one. I'm not a big duck connoisseur, so like the way that people, the Peking duck and the different various, I always find duck just too fatty. And the one time that I had duck in Louisiana, like somebody forgot to pull all the buckshot out of it, so I bit into a piece with actually buckshot from the duck. That was my duck experience is not the best.
Not good.
Not good. So I can't hold that against him, though. But I do like the elements of what they're trying to do with these Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah, I am a duck fan, but I will say that Texas cheesesteak burrito, Craig and Durango.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, sir, our Meat Church menu item of the day. And whether you're a backyard griller, Cowboys tailgater, or a pit master pro, Meat Church has everything you need. Visit meatchurch.com, your ultimate destination for the finest rubs, seasonings, and barbecue supplies. Matt Pittman and Meat Church, the official pit master of the Dallas Cowboys. We love you, Matt. You're doing excellent work. Actually, we just had a Legends Hospitality drop by. Speaking of cheesesteaks,
yes,
the Cowboys cheesesteak and the Texas chocolate chip cookie, they are the items today for game day. That Cowboys cheesesteak sliced sirloin, grilled to perfection with onions and secret cheesesteak seasoning, piled high on a soft hoagie bun, topped with that jalapeno jack queso. Absolutely outstanding. You can get it. It's their top-selling sandwich, which also features that special Jack Hot queso, crafted exclusively for the Dallas Cowboys. And, man, you can go ahead and get that available across the entire stadium. We've had this a couple of times. It's absolutely delicious.
Oh, it is delicious. And, we're into that point now for the next, 5 days? You and I and Eric and all, we're going to be eating meals out here and stuff like that. And the Thanksgiving spread that they do, the cheesesteaks. This stadium, when it does that with the Legends and what they do, is incredible, the different menu items they have from game to game, and they're all excellent.
standing by to possibly catch up with Joseph Newgarden, IndyCar champion here at AT&T Stadium. He's visiting with Jerry as we speak. Jadeveon Clowney is out on the field getting some pregame work in with defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton. Coach Whitecotton also showing up to the stadium today in the home white Marshawn Nealon jersey. Last week he showed up to the game in Vegas with the road navy Marshawn Nealon jersey. You've got Britt Brown and player personnel vice president Will McClay watching. Good chance Jadeveon Clowney plays today. We were getting some optimistic news as he was listed as questionable. I mean, him and Ezeraku, they've really found something there, I think, starting at defensive end and then the rotating. You saw Sam Williams had some of his snaps decreased. Fowler, James Houston had his snaps increased. And then Devontae Smith has also arrived today. He is on the field right now. He flew separately from the team for personal reasons, but Devontae Smith out there right now on the field at AT&T Stadium for pregame warm-ups. But I'll be interested along that defensive line. They got some choices to make. Who's active? Who's inactive? I mean, they're so deep at D tackle.
It looks like we got Joseph right here. We can bring him up on the stage.
Absolutely.
I recognize a championship driver from anywhere.
Come on out. How are you, sir?
Hey, Joseph. Good to have you.
We'll get you that headset on.
Yeah, there we go.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We got the number 2. Is this a personal jersey?
That's his car number.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is my car number. I'm the number 2 guy, so the jersey fits.
You're a very good number 2 guy when you get behind the wheel of that car.
Yeah, it's amazing to be here. We are so excited. I mean, obviously the reason I'm down here is I'm promoting the race that's coming up in March, as you guys know, and we're so excited to come to Dallas. We've got to have an established race in this area. This is one of the home places of the United States. Like, when you think of the United States, Dallas is one of the big meccas. So very pumped to be here today. Can't wait to come back for this race. We want to make it a long-standing tradition, too. Not just next year, but hopefully have this big blow-up event that's well-received, that's going to be here for, many, many years to come.
I want to ask you about that, Joseph. When you go to what would be a temporary street course, I guess, initially here, but how is it different for a driver because you go to so many different tracks where you have, like at Belle Isle or wherever you drive, the track. Yeah. But how different is it bringing your team here and then kind of trying to figure it out as we go?
Well, you really only have one opportunity at that magic start point where you don't know anything, right? So we're going to be hypothesizing a lot. Obviously we're going to get some sort of data. We're going to see, we know the track layout, but we don't know the grip level. We don't know exactly how it drives. You don't know exactly how the setup's going to be. So you really only have that first year where you can try and pull something over on everybody a little bit quicker to just do a better job right away. Once you get a couple years into an event, then people start to figure out the real cadence of it, the way the track works, what they need to do. That still takes a skill set. It's not easy to show up even if you've been somewhere 10 years in a row.
Right.
But you really only get that magic moment one time. So I'm excited. A first-year event, you're going to get a first-time winner. Like I said, you only get one shot at that, and it looks like a very exciting track that they're building. Super long straightaway for a street circuit.
Right.
A lot of it's very easily visible. I mean, in this complex, you got a beautiful complex here, right?
Sure.
Like, it's almost built to put a racetrack. So you're going to be able to put the fans very close to the action. I always love a street course race. I tell people this in IndyCar.
Right.
It's very visceral. What I mean by that is it's like going to a football game. You're up close to the action.
Yes.
You can feel the cars. You can kind of sense the speed, see what they're doing, see when they're struggling, trying to fight against the walls, the track limits. So I always love a street course event for people to see.
You guys do such a great job with your promotion and making it very fan-friendly. I mean, and you're a very personal guy. Seen you do a ton of interviews, seen you interact with fans. What is it about you drivers that you come off as really, really good dudes?
Wow, I think it's genuine. I mean, you definitely have you have this ease about everybody that that we want to be inclusive. Yeah. I think IndyCar is. I'm biased, obviously, because I race in the series, but I think we really are the best at the fan inclusion.
You do a great job.
You come to an IndyCar race, it's very different than going to any other sporting event. Now, I'm not trying to compare us to the NFL. I mean, the NFL experience is unbelievable, right? I love coming to an event like this. You show up to a stadium, you're watching almost the gladiators, if you will. Yeah. Like, it's a really great atmosphere. The only difference to an IndyCar race is you can get up and close to the players and the teams.
Yes, the access.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you come to this race, come to the Arlington Grand Prix, you can buy a paddock pass.
Right.
The paddock is basically where we live. That's where the teams are set up. You're going to see the mechanics, the engineers. You're going to see the drivers walking around. You can go walk up to anybody. You can see the cars rolling in and out of the tents, getting ready to go on track. You can talk to anybody. I mean, you could be 10 feet, 5 feet away from this stuff. And you don't have to ask anyone permission for that. You can just kind of do it. So it's a really unique experience when you can get that close to the action and the players.
Joseph Newgarden with us here on 105 through the Fan, getting you set for Cowboys Eagles. I'm always fascinated for drivers when you step into a car. What are you feeling for? I feel like you guys, it's crazy how you can just sense when something's right or wrong about the car. Obviously, I think a lot of people now have become race fans, whether it's from Drive to Survive or whatever it might be. But what are some of the keys to you when you can tell immediately, okay, this isn't right. This is a bleep box right here that I'm in right now, or this is right and great.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping to have that great connection, right? People have, in sports, you have all different terminology for this. You have flow state. In the zone, whatever it is, right? But you're looking for that intangible description that I'm talking about when you're in the car. You want to feel that one with the thing. It's different than driving a road car. Almost everybody can relate to driving a road car, going to get groceries, going to get gas, doing whatever. In IndyCar, you feel connected to the thing. I mean, it feels like another arm on your body, which is not how a road car feels. I mean, you're not connected to it in that way. Yeah, you can feel the bumps on the road. You can get a little bit of feedback coming through the vehicle, but I'm telling you, when you're in an Indy car, it is like you're at one with the thing. So that could be tough if you're not a professional race car driver. It'd probably be a sensory overload for people. But what you're looking for, hopefully, on the day when you show up to a race is just everything feels easy to do. You're not thinking about it. You really want to be in that sort of second-hand state of mind where you're focused forward, but everything's just happening naturally. I think that's what happens with any professional athlete at a super high level. They're having a great day. Sure. They're really not thinking every moment of the decisions that they're making. They're focused on executing the plan, but a lot of what's happening as far as their delivery is just second nature. And so that's what you want on a really good day in the car.
It's interesting you say that because, like I said, I've been in the pits during the Indy 500. Jay Fry and I, we're the old president, and we're best friends. We played football at the same time, he at Missouri and myself at LSU. And Jay always got me down close to the action, so that was my benefit. And I've seen, to me, there's a lot of what goes on in football, teamwork, luck, breaks, timing, all these things. There's a lot of things that are very similar to what goes on with drive and a race and how you guys navigate those things.
It's so similar.
It's crazy how similar it is.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough convincing people that aren't race fans that. They
need to be race fans because you guys do a hell of a job. Seriously.
Well, I think you're certainly getting more race fans. You just mentioned it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more interest in motorsports, I think, globally and definitely domestically here in the United States. A lot of reasons for that. I mean, obviously, Drive to Survive brought a bunch of people in.
Yeah.
They're going, oh, wow, I didn't realize this was involved in running a race.
Yeah.
This seems kind of interesting. But it's when you study it and you watch and you understand what's happening, it is no different than any other sport.
Right.
Someone was just asking me here, they were like, well, what are you looking forward to of coming down to the race? Like, what's your goal or what do you like about it? I'm like, well, it's really no different than these NFL players.
No question.
I like, coming up with a plan with my team.
Right.
We're going to a race. We assess it. We kind of know what this race is going to demand. We make our plan. And we show up and we try and execute on it together as a team. Just like you said, it's the process that I love. It's the process of the challenge and competing and just trying to execute at a higher level in the competition around you.
One of my favorite things is like listening to you, and that's the great thing about racing. You get the crew chief and then also the driver, the conversation.
The communication, sure.
And then they might be in a caution lap or something late in a race, and the strategy and the driver says, do this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, and you pull it off, and then he's standing there pouring milk on top of himself or something like that. So I love that element of it with the racing aspect of it, how the fans, like you said, can get really involved in what you're doing and hear what you're doing at race days.
Yeah, and it's no different. I mean, you see these documentaries now where people get into the minutia of, like, delivering a great football game.
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, everybody on the team's got to know, like, the playbook, the plan for the day. All right, if we're going to adjust, what are the adjustments we're going to make? And then you have the quarterback who has that like at an even higher level, right? But everybody on the team has to know it to some degree. That's how racing is. Like you relate the driver to the quarterback, and that they've got to know almost just as much as the strategist. but everybody on the team sort of gets the plan. They get how to adjust. You know, they know what we can do in different moments when we have difficulties, et cetera. So it's very much a team sport, and I love interacting with everybody.
The pressure on you guys is similar to what these guys go through when they talk about that's what's fascinating to me about it, though.
Well, you have to thrive on that. That's kind of what I love about racing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, and I was competing at this. This is off topic, but I was competing at this fitness race like 2 days ago, and there's like 10,000 people here, and they're like, "You get nervous for this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, definitely." But I don't get nervous when I go to the track because I love that moment. Just like these guys, they've got to perform when it all counts, and we got to do the same on track.
You're a star, man. Thank you so much. This has been a blast. The number 2 Cowboys jersey looking fantastic on you. We can't wait to go check out the race and continue to watch your journey, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to come back down here. Appreciate you guys supporting. We'll see you in March.
Yep.
See you in March, for sure.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. There he goes, Joseph Newgarden, your IndyCar champ, with us here at 105.3 The Fan as we get you set for Cowboys, Eagles. Let's chat with Babe Laufenberg. We're getting closer and closer to kickoff. Christy Scales is going to be joining us as well. We'll keep you updated on the scores across the National Football League. That's next as the official pregame show your Cowboys rolls on here on The Fan.
Bell Nunley has been committed to serving
Every great company. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Volleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Tyson Foods. Get your Tyson Cowboys Star Nuggets available now. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Under 2 hours away from kickoff, Cowboys, Eagles, AT&T Stadium. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus here in the Miller Lite West Plaza, right by the Miller Lighthouse as the pregame party is a-rockin'. We go inside the booth right now, chat with our buddy for a quickie here. Babe Laufenberg, brought to you by Reliant, who's proud to power the home of the Dallas Cowboys and the home of Cowboys fans across Texas. Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. And Babe, it's here. I know you and a lot of us, we were looking at the schedule, and we said early on the Cowboys need to make some hay because they got a gauntlet the second half. Well, it kicks off today against those Eagles.
It does, and it's funny because, you know, schedule comes out and you think this team's going to be really good and then this team's not going to be really good, and the schedule got a little easier as the season went on and these teams started to reveal themselves. Philadelphia, we know what they are. You guys have talked about them. They're 8-2, but they're just squeaking by into wins. Kansas City, they're 5-5 right now. I believe they're losing in today's game to Indy. Detroit, you know, they've got a lot of injuries. Minnesota's 4-6. Then come the Chargers. Chargers just got walloped by Jacksonville last week, 35-6. They had 135 yards of total offense, the Chargers did, in that game. So some of those games that we thought, wow, when that schedule came out, how are they ever going to get through this? They're a little bit easier, but that doesn't mean the Cowboys don't have to play good football to beat them.
Yeah, Babe, are we to that point, though, where there's, like, no margin of error? I know that you can lose a game and all, but you really can't. You just, you know, you got to go out there, and I'm not saying, you know, you almost have to play with perfection, but that's what good NFL teams do. They almost play with perfection every week, and Dallas sure did a great job Monday night, though, but where are we at? Which team? Is it the Monday night team going to show up or the one that we might have saw for 9 weeks before that?
Yeah, and as you guys know, the problem is they don't get to play the same team that they played on Monday night. You know, the Raiders are just not a very good football team. This is a good football team, but it's such a strange team. How they keep winning. Dysfunctional might be too strong of a word, but it's one that probably can be used between the receiver, the quarterback. But again, they keep winning. But they're winning all these close games. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, they just know how to win the close games. And to a point, that's true. But when you play a lot of close games, eventually they even out. Your kicker doesn't make his kick. Their kicker does, and you lose. They're 5-0 this season, Philadelphia is, when they've been held under 300 total yards. 5-0 when under 300. That doesn't happen. But they win them. Kansas City is a great example. Kansas City has had the best record in one-score games since Patrick Mahomes took over. Well, this year they're 0-5. They're not winning those tight football games, and that's a difference, again, between Kansas City being 5-5 and being 8-2 or 9-1. And you play enough close games, you're going to win some, but you're also going to lose some.
Dak has been fantastic, Babe, not only against the NFC East, but he hasn't lost at home to the Eagles since 2017. Then on the other side, Jalen Hurts, it seems like there's always drama. All he does is win, but yet the offense is struggling. A.J. Brown and him, what the heck's going on? What do you think about these quarterbacks heading into today?
Well, I'm going to throw it to you two guys, and I kind of tossed it out to people through the week, but leave contract out of it, leave age out of it, leave all that stuff out of it. I just say, look, you're going to go play a game tomorrow. I can give you Jalen Hurts or I can give you Dak Prescott. You take your pick. Who do you want? So who do you want?
Dak.
I'm taking Dak, right now. But I'll tell you what, what's interesting, though, is Hurts is kind of enjoying being a bus driver, though. In a way, he's not going to sit there. They'll run go routes. They'll throw a hitch. They'll throw some slants. Yep. He's okay with that. And I think it's making everybody around him mad, but he's cool that it knows bottom line is it's winning them football games. Sure. He's not messing it up for Vic Fangio. You know? If you embrace the bus driver quarterback, you can win games.
Yeah. Well, he's thrown one interception all year long, as we know.
It's the Giants. Yeah, that was it.
Because he refuses to turn it loose. And you'll see him. You'll see him today. Anybody watching today, hopefully listening,
He'll drop back, he'll take one look, and then if it's not there, he kind of puts his head down and tries to see where to go. And he's not going to throw it into tight spaces. I watched it all last year when Kellen Moore was the OC there. So it's not necessarily a change of offensive coordinators, and he's had 4 of them, by the way, in 4 years, so that's not easy.
No.
But he just refuses to put the ball in harm's way. Now, let me say this. When you've got a defense like he has, you can sit there and you can win games, right? So they've scored 26 points combined in the last 2 games. They've won them both. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for Dak.
Unreal. No, it certainly doesn't. Babe, thank you so much. We'll catch up with you again later. Yeah.
Okay, quickly, though, the notion that, wait a minute, there's a guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one,
yeah.
Super Bowl MVP, and yet we still want Dak Prescott. But I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I think it's if you switch.
If you want the bus driver quarterback, go for it, because they do win games.
Yeah, and I think Dak could have similar success if they were to change roles, I guess would be the way that I would look at it. But, Babe, thank you so much. That's an awesome topic. We'll catch up with you in a little bit, okay?
Thank you, guys.
There he goes, Babe Laufenberg, as we go inside the booth. Let's go around the NFL, also go behind enemy lines. Merrill Reese, Brian's favorite, play-by-play voice of the Eagles, coming up on the other side as we get closer to kickoff here on 105 through the Fan.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change.
They blocked them the last time. The ball is spotted. The kick is away. It's blocked! It's blocked! It's picked up by the Eagles. Running with it is Davis. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! Game over! Jordan Davis!
Are you kidding me?
Blocked them again!
Are you kidding me?
Blocked them again! Have you ever seen anything like this? The Rams are standing silent. They can't believe what just happened to them. Successive field goal blocks. Winning for the Eagles. What a great, great game. What a great, great comeback. And the final score is 33-26.
A very giddy Merrill Reese, play-by-play voice of the Eagles as we go behind enemy lines now, about 90 minutes away from kickoff at AT&T Stadium. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus, Cowboys, Eagles, and Merrill. It's been that kind of year. 8-2, winning these close games. I mean, what's your assessment of the Eagles 10 games in heading into today?
I think it's great. I think it's they're playing really well, but if you listen to talk radio in Philadelphia, you'd be convinced that they're 1-7.
Well, hey, Merrill, if you remember, we had that draft in Philly, and I think it was Sal Palantonio that called me a liar, and that draft ended up being pretty good. So sometimes you don't have to listen to the media there in Philly, right?
But they have style. They have style points.
Yeah,
you can't
points.
just win.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing a great job winning. And Merrill, is it the offense has been efficient? Is the defense carrying the day for this team? So the last several weeks.
Yes and no. Yes, in terms of making the biggest impact. Yeah. But the Eagles' offense has done what it's had to when they have to. You have Jalen Hurts, and there are two words that describe Jalen Hurts better than any other. A winner. He's a winner. He finds ways to win. And, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm sure it's no secret. I'm not giving out any team secrets. You guys see all the tapes. The coaches see all the tapes. But the biggest problem with the offense has been the offensive line is not healthy or hasn't been healthy. Last year, I think you'll agree that last year the offensive line was the best in the NFL. This year, they've had a lot of injuries. You have Cam Jurgens, the center, coming back from a back surgery. Now, last week he went out with a concussion, but he's cleared to play today. Lane Johnson has been in and out, and now he's going to be out for a month with a Liz Frank fracture. And then Landon Dickerson, the other guard, Landon Dickerson is coming off of back surgery, so they're just not the same. At times they have guys who can come in like Brett Toth and do well, and Fred Johnson, but they're not the same as the starters, and the offensive line has simply not been as efficient.
Is that what has led to maybe the lack of or the drop in production for Saquon Barkley?
Well, I think there's a stat that last year, before there was contact, he was over 2 yards downfield.
Right.
Now it's at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Yeah. When it comes to the A.J. Brown stuff, Merrill, how bad is this really with his frustration with Jalen Hurts and the offense? I mean, you mentioned Philly Talk Radio, but that's been the conversation across the NFL, is this drama between Hurts and Brown and the frustration with how things are going.
You know, A.J. gets frustrated. He goes on social media. But you know what? It's much ado about nothing. Because the A.J. Brown that I see in the locker room is a very friendly guy. His teammates love him. He's respectful of his coaches, and then he yips to social media. So it's not a big. This is not revisiting T.O.
Merrill, when you talked about that and like you said, I really like, you mentioned watching tape. I really like what you guys are doing on defense, and I won't focus on the offense. I think you're absolutely right about the offensive line and the situation there. The quarterback, I think, is doing a fine job. I just think this defense, and I think the fact that you go out and you get a guy like Jalen Phillips to come in and is a mid-season acquisition, and he looks like he has made a big, big difference for this defense.
Well, Brian, you know personnel as well as anybody, and you really have to admire the job that Howie Roseman has done with this team.
Absolutely.
I mean, in midstream, a couple of years ago, back in 2017, when they were going for their first Super Bowl win, in midstream at the trade deadline, they picked up Jay Ajayi, and that was a missing component. And it's the same thing now. They needed help on the edge, and they got it in Jalen Phillips, and what a difference he makes.
When it comes to the secondary, Quinyon Mitchell's fantastic. How do you think they're going to try and match up today with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens?
Good question, because that's a great pair of wide receivers. I used to say that the team of Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown were probably as good as any two in the league, but I think right now CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are right there with them. They're great players. So we'll see what they do. I do know this. They have a tremendous defensive coordinator. Vic Fangio is just a brilliant coach, and he'll find a way to put the right matchups there. Doesn't always work, but Vic will have an answer that he'll be out there trying to do with. Now, last week, a guy who had gotten a lot of criticism was Adoree Jackson. But last week against Detroit, he really played well, very, very well.
Yeah, it's been a kind of an interesting season, Merrill. When you talk about it, there's been really no breaks for Philadelphia. It seems like every week they've been into a very, very difficult game, and as you mentioned, the record speaks for itself. They found a way to get things done. I think you have to give Nick Sirianni a little credit. I know from the outside we all think it's chaos. From the inside, he's doing a damn good job for you guys.
Well, he's a very well-organized coach. He's a good motivator. Players like him, yet at the same time, he's very, very tough, very authoritative. He's done a great job, and so has his staff. Look, I talk about the offensive line, but this is my 49th season, and I'm not going anyplace, by the way, but this is my 49th season, and I have never been around a better offensive line coach than Jeff Stoutland. You know, when the players come out and they give their schools on television, and you'll hear Cam Jurgens, Nebraska, or Lane Johnson, Oklahoma, and you get to Jordan Mailata, and he says, Jordan Mailata, Stoutland University.
Yeah. All right, Merrill, listen, I know we're getting down to the last month or so of the season, teams jockeying for position. I'm going to need you to get on that college film. I'm going to call you up and ask you some questions about some of these college players for the draft. You know me. I trust your eye on these guys.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well,
you're my East Coast. You're my East Coast guy, Merrill. I got to have you. I got you know those guys out there, right?
I'll just give you a quick view of mine that it's not a real deep year in terms of quarterbacks this year.
No.
But I will tell you that I think whether it's a year or 2 years, when Arch Manning comes out, he's just really at the beginning. I think he's going to be a franchise changer.
I'm with you. Merrill Reese with us here on the official pregame show of your Dallas Cowboys, longtime play-by-play voice of the Eagles. The Kelly Green jerseys today, Merrill, I got to say, they're sharp. You know, I don't love a lot of things about your Eagles, but those jerseys are incredible. How have you liked it since they brought those back?
Well, they don't bring them back very often. In fact, this is the first time they've ever worn them on the road. And I think they wore them one other game this year. Wow. So it's the Giants game, the second Giants game, is the only other time they've worn them. So they are treating Dallas to a view of their original color.
Merrill, when you do see the Kelly Green, is there a player you think of in that jersey, in that color? Is there a particular player when you see that you go, man, that jersey is that player?
Okay, I will give you the politically correct answer. Mike Quick.
Mike Quick. Oh, no.
There you go.
Mike was good in that 82. I'll say when I see a Reggie White in that jersey, that's what I think of a Philadelphia jersey. When I see that 92 Kelly Green, I think of Reggie White is who I think.
See, you know what, Brian? I can go back long enough as a kid to tell you that jersey with the number 11 was Norm Van Brocklin. Number 25 was Tommy McDonald. Number 60 was Chuck Bednarik.
There you go.
One of the talking points, Merrill, for us, obviously that first meeting, unfortunately, the situation that happened with Jalen Carter, he gets ejected, the spit on Dak Prescott. But the on-off splits, the numbers, when Jalen Carter is not on the field for the Eagles, the defense is night and day difference. What have you seen from Jalen Carter this year as he's turning into one of the best defensive players in the sport?
Well, he is, but I want to tell you something. The last few weeks, Jordan Davis has also been absolutely outstanding. Both of those Bulldogs have been tremendous. Not just one. And then, of course, another great player in that defense, and I don't use the word great cheaply or often, but a guy who has emerged as a premier player is Zach Bond.
Yeah, absolutely.
Merrill, thank you so much. Have a great call, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
Always great to speak with you guys. Enjoy the afternoon.
You as well. There he goes, Merrill Reese, play-by-play voice of the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go ahead and pause right now for station identification on 105.3 The Fan.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD-FM and HD1, Dallas-Fort Worth.
An Odyssey sports station.
Oh, it is getting busy as we are really an hour and 20 or so away from kickoff here at AT&T Stadium. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus. We're at the Miller Lite West Plaza. Come on by, say what's up if you're heading out to AT&T Stadium. Nick Harris, our buddy who we have on usually Fridays on 105.3 The Fan with the G-Bag Nation. Jonathan Mingo going through warm-ups in his cleats, an indication he's probably going to be active today for the first time this season.
I wonder who they're going to sit then for that wide receiver spot. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, could it be Tolbert? We'll see. Now, it is John Machota just putting out Jalen Tolbert, and we knew Jaden Blue inactive today. Jonathan Mingo is active. He is going to make his season debut. Other inactives, Perion Winfrey is an inactive today. So is Jay Toia, the Cowboys rookie, Tolbert, Blue, and then Hakeem Adeniji. So Solomon Thomas is a go. Jadeveon Clowney is a go today as well. But our first look this season at Jonathan Mingo, whom the Cowboys traded a fourth-round pick for last year.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was starting. The whispers were getting louder and louder and louder. And you kind of wondered if the coaching staff, we asked Stephen Jones this on Friday about, do coaches just want to play certain guys? And I think maybe then maybe the front office stepped in and said, hey, let's take a look at Mingo. Let's see how he might play in a game like this. He's got years left, but, man, I thought it was going to take an act of Congress to get Tolbert out of the lineup, but here we are today.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm excited. I mean, Jonathan Mingo, certainly from a blocking standpoint, you want to try and run the football today. They did have success running inside in the first game, Brian, but that was without Jalen Carter.
Right.
You might need to try and hit the edge, which I think you talked about with the Raiders last week, was a way to attack them. The Cowboys ran the football very well. Javonte Williams, that could help out today, getting Mingo active.
Yeah, this is the challenge, is when you have those mammoth defensive tackles and you have linebackers that play at a very, very high level. The Cowboys, even last week against the Raiders, the Raiders were averaging only allowing 3.7 yards a carry inside. What did Dallas do? They attacked inside. They said, the hell with you. We're still going to try and run the ball inside. I'll be interested today to see where that path is. I think they have to play with some balance today. I think that they have to be able to – this can't turn into Dak drop back and throw it 50 times game. This has to be a game where they find a way to have some balance in the way they go.
And our guy Roger Staubach over here in
Was
the
he not
Roger
too
the
happy
Dodger.
with me?
No, he said ball control. That's what you need. Ball control. Maybe you're trying to limit the amount. Certainly, if you can. I know Babe Laufenberg hates the time of possession stat, because it's very possible, for the other team, you come out, you have one play like the North Texas Mean Green do, and then boom, it's a touchdown.
Well, it has to be like this is going to be key for Dallas today. It is going to be about, of course, the points, but how you get the points, whether it's the field goal, whether it's the touchdown. But every time you get a stop, you need to find a way, a 3 or a 6, a 3 or 6. Put pressure on Philadelphia to have to chase points today. Their offense has struggled. Merrill is, hey, they're winning games. Merrill Reese was talking about it, and, he's not wrong. But this team has struggled to put some points on the board. Every time you get a stop, and this team in Philadelphia will go out 3 and out.
They will.
They will go out 3 and out. So every time that happens, you have to punish them. You punished the Commanders earlier in the year playing that way. Every time they punted to you, you got points. Make the Philadelphia Eagles have to chase points today.
Yeah, you're better equipped now personnel-wise to compete on defense. There's no doubt. Jay Glazer reporting on Fox this morning. The Cowboys going to run even more of that 5-man fronts, especially at defensive tackle. You're fully loaded now with Solomon Thomas being active. You got Quinnen Williams making his home debut as a Dallas Cowboy. Kenny Clark, Osa, Thomas, them rotating in. Clowney being good to go. Ezraku. But, up the middle, Overshown. Logan Wilson, Malik Hooker's coming off a really good game. I mean, Savo and Ravel said it. They're playing for something bigger. Obviously, for number 94, they came out with aggression and played with a purpose. They're going to need to do that again today against an Eagles team and make sure, hey, find a way to cover the flat, please.
Yeah.
Don't allow Barkley some dump-off passes that go for 20 to 30 yards. That's been an issue. And Jalen Hurts, you got to find a way to contain him.
Yeah, the how you play on the edges is going to be key in this one. And you got, with Clowney, the way that's a veteran guy, doesn't get fooled very much. He'll be going against Fred Johnson quite a bit at that right tackle spot. I kind of have a feeling, though, this is where you need to attack. Fred Johnson, even making Saquon Barkley have to do some blitz pickup stuff. If you get him in the flat and in space and things like that, that could be a problem. So Dallas has got to be aware, and that's where Overshown and those guys, Logan and those guys, Wilson, they have to travel and go out there and make sure that they secure those flats.
United Healthcare is the proud official healthcare partner of the Dallas Cowboys, bringing coverage you can count on to Cowboys territory. Learn more at uhc.com. Let's get the scoop from Christy Scales coming up on the other side as we continue counting down to Cowboys-Eagles here on 105.3 The Fan.
How's it going?
Show continues on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Brought to you by Volleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Arrow Exterminators, official pest control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
America's sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, passing by here in the Miller Lite West Plaza. Today's game between the Cowboys and the Eagles at AT&T Stadium, brought to you by American Airlines, the official airline of the Dallas Cowboys. As we are just over an hour away from kickoff, here's Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout, Brian Broaddus, and we are joined now by the great Christy Scales. Christy, how are you? And what has stood out here? We got this defensive line rotation's really, really deep. There were some difficult decisions, I'm sure, of who to have active and who to inactive.
And part of it was game day decision on the availability of Jadeveon Clowney, who missed some practice time this week with a neck, shoulder soreness. But he came out early pregame, did a workout with the trainers, and gave the thumbs up. So Clowney is available. But yeah, I think a lot of people were expecting that Perrion Winfrey might make his debut for the Cowboys, a regular season one today. Of course, he had been on IR with the back injury, but really had been available the last couple weeks if they wanted to go ahead and activate him and have him on the game day roster ready to go. And physically he is, but Zach, it's just one of these numbers games where Solomon Thomas was able to work through the calf injury that kept him out of last week. Jadeveon Clowney, as I mentioned a moment ago, is healthy enough to go. So you actually have two defensive linemen who are inactive today. One of them is Winfrey and the other is rookie Jay Toia.
Christy, really a great debut for Ravel on Monday night. Carson playing well. There's got to be some questions at the cornerback spot and how that's going to shake out today.
You say questions, I say better answers. How about that? Should we go with that?
I like the answers,
because I would say early in the season it was more questions than answers. No, Revel really did have a great NFL debut last week. So what's going to happen tonight is, this afternoon, the starters are going to be Kalen Carson, who played every single snap last week in his first start of the season. So Kalen Carson and Deron Bland will start on the outside. When the team goes into nickel, that's when you'll see Bland move inside and you'll see Revel play outside. Now here's another thing. Revel will not only be out there just in nickel situations and in some obvious third down, long distance type of situations. Maybe as early as the third series, could see him out there along with Bland as the outside cornerbacks, or maybe if he gets another series like that in the second half or so, maybe it's Carson. But look for him to work in not only in just the nickel and the longer down and distance third down situations, but maybe get some time out there on the outside in the base defense. So that speaks a lot to how much they like this rookie.
Oh no, we've got Eagle fan chants going on here, Christy.
I can hear that. Yes, we need some noise canceling headphones to get rid of those guys there.
We absolutely do. That was utterly disgusting. Christy, when it comes to linebacker last week, it was Kenneth Murray starting, and then you told us Logan Wilson would get the next series. Maybe they'd alternate. Well, what's the plan today? And then Overshone, of course, now in game number 2 after he made his season debut last week.
Yeah, well, with in the middle with Murray and Wilson, same as last week. Look for Murray to get the start. He'll be a green dot when it's his series. Next series out there will be Wilson, and on and on. But I wonder if in the second half, and this is just me, if maybe Wilson gets a little bit more. But the plan for right now, at least at the start of the game, is similar to what they did last week. Same thing with Overshone. So last week, Demo, they were hoping to get about 30 to 35 plays. He ended up with 31, so really right on the mark. And so when they want to give him something similar this week, maybe a little higher, mid-30s or upper 30s. But the thing is, it's not so much that they're worried about his knee, it's that with this short turnaround with the game again on Thursday, they just want to be very mindful of that. So again, he's on a pitch count, but it's not because he had any trouble coming out of the Monday night game, but it's already a short week from a Monday night to this Sunday afternoon game, and then obviously very short week working into next Thursday or this coming Thursday on Thanksgiving Day. So they're just going to try and just make sure that he doesn't overdo it, because this is a really tough stretch for everybody, not just the guys like Revel and Overshone who are getting their first action of the season in the month of November after coming off serious knee surgeries last season.
Christy, it's a home game, and with Marshawn Nealon, we were on the road in Las Vegas. Anything that you can kind of talk about today, now that we're back here at home, and in a way of honoring him or any way like that?
Sure. Well, the players and coaches and staff here on the sideline, all of us are wearing the same shirts that we wore last week in Las Vegas, the blue shirts with on the front, the white, there's photo of Marshawn, and then his name, Marshawn Nealon, 2001 through 2024 on the front of the shirt. All the players will be wearing that number 94 sticker on the back of their helmets through the rest of the season. But what's going to happen is, I haven't seen his family come down to the sideline yet, but his family is here. His girlfriend Catalina, there will be guests down here on the sideline. If they're not here yet, it'll be in just the next couple moments. And then what's going to happen with the moment of silence will take place just before the national anthem. But prior to the moment of silence, I invite everyone who's here at AT&T Stadium to look up at the video board, because there's going to be about a 40-second video tribute to Marshawn. So I'm trying to make it a special day for Marshawn's family here, and to have the home crowd be able to pay tribute to Marshawn, just as the Raiders did with the home game last Monday there for the Raiders in Las Vegas.
It's also My Cause, My Cleats, Christy. Anything that you can share with us on maybe what some players are doing?
Oh, yeah. So Dak, of course, with his Faith Fight Finish Foundation. My favorite ones of the day, I'll tell you, Zach, very floral pattern, very like Hawaiian shirt kind of colors and floral pattern. Maris Leofau, who, of course, is from Hawaii, but he went to Notre Dame, and so it's a floral pattern, and then it's LAND, and it's Life After Notre Dame, and it's for the athletes, once they've finished their careers there, not just athletically, but pursuing graduate school and all sorts of things for Notre Dame athletes. So that's my favorite. They're bright and colorful, but the guys wear them in the pregame warm-ups. You don't see them really wear them as much in the games, mainly because they don't have enough time to break them in, right? Once you get to the game. Who was it last year or year before that got the blisters? Was it Jaden Blue, right? As a rookie, Jaden Blue.
In practice.
Yes. Yeah, that was in practice. So rookie mistake. That's right. It was earlier this season. That's right. With breaking in a new pair of cleats. So lots of things that people don't think about when they think, oh, that looks really cool. But it's all about the comfort and getting through the game, right?
Absolutely. Christy, thank you so much. Anything else before we chat up with you later?
No, sounds good. I'll have keys to the game prior to kickoff.
Okay, perfect. We'll talk with you then. There she is, Christy Scales, always with the scoop here on 105.3 The Fan as we get closer to Cowboys and Eagles, just about an hour away from kickoff here as the fans are waiting patiently as we have the Cowboys cheerleaders rolling by. Again, we've also got
Paul Stewart,
our UK Cowboys fans.
Our UK Cowboy fans.
He's kilting. He's wearing his kilt.
Paul's got his kilt on with his Ferguson jersey. This is awesome.
That's outstanding.
It's so awesome.
Repping the kilt all the way from the UK, and that's the power of Cowboys country right there. We appreciate you, everything you guys do. Paul is the man, and thank you so much, of course, for spreading Cowboys love.
The World Team podcast right there.
Absolutely.
Those guys do the World Team podcast.
They do a fantastic job.
Me and Bots were on it last night. Enjoyed that, every bit of it.
So if you missed it, yes, it will be Jonathan Mingo making his debut. He is active. Jalen Tolbert is inactive today. Of course, Malik Davis officially on the 53-man roster yesterday. The Cowboys had to move somebody, and so what they did was they released Kyrie Elam, whom they traded for in the offseason. They did keep Triquez Bridges on the roster. We thought maybe he would be one of the guys that would end up getting moved, but no, it is Kyrie Elam. But interesting news there from Christy. It will be Bland and Carson on the outside, and then when they go into nickel, Bland will kick inside, and Savone Revel, the rookie, will then be playing on the outside, and much of the same at linebacker. Logan Wilson will end up starting. And then, of course, Kenneth Murray will start, and then Logan Wilson will get the second series. They'll alternate. But Christy noting, maybe you get more Logan Wilson in the second half.
Well, I'll tell you what, the thing, they're trying to get Logan more involved, and he's been, I think, coming in, they've thrown him into some situations. Smart guy, his ability to adjust. You can watch the tape of just some of the routes that he carried. That'll be key in what's going on today with the stuff that Philadelphia likes to do with their tight ends underneath. Be very mindful of that in this game. But having Logan Wilson, his ability to play angles, play downhill, be smart playing coverage. Like Christy talked about him maybe a little bit later. I wouldn't be surprised we see him a lot more earlier than that. If they need to get a stop or two, which I think they could do, I wouldn't be surprised if he was on the field.
No, you don't really have any room or margin for error anymore. I mean, you got to make sure you're just playing your best guys right now.
Yeah.
And I think he might be one of those along with Overshown. And it is official, Cam Jurgens active for the Eagles. No Lane Johnson, so it'll be Fred Johnson getting the start. As Lane Johnson not having to go on IR, though, for Philadelphia. So that's a good thing for them, thinking maybe they can get him back a little sooner rather than later.
You got to use these matchups to your advantage, though. Fred Johnson out there, find a way. You got to find a way also, too. And I mentioned this, get Landon Dickerson one-on-one.
Yep.
He's given up quick pressures. He's given up sacks that way. Find ways to take advantage of these one-on-one situations if you can get them.
All right, we have under an hour until kick here. Cowboys, Eagles, this is a big one of the best rivalries in all of football. Of course, we'll let you know what's happening around the league. Our UK Cowboy fans are bringing the juice right now as this place is humming at AT&T Stadium. We'll get inside the numbers. We'll get our view from the owner's box with Jerry Jones. A lot more as the official pregame show rolls on the Fan.
Dallas Cowboys fans know a thing or two about legacy, commitment.
Dallas Cowboys.
Veritiv Pollock is more than just a supplier. We're your strategic ally in facility, packaging, and retail solutions. From industrial warehouses to office buildings, schools, and retail operations, we help you lower costs, increase efficiency, and stay stocked with the products that keep your business moving forward. With over 100 years of experience, national distribution, and a commitment to innovation, Veritiv Pollock is where solved happens. Call 855-239-5153 or visit pollock.com today.
105.3 The Fan. The Fan. The Dallas Cowboys Radio Network is on the air.
Deep fade, left corner of the end zone, 1-for-1. Caught the ball. Touchdown. Touchdown, Cowboys.
With Brad Schaub, Babe Loffenberg, Christy Scales, Eric Chiafalo, and Brian Broaddus. Brought to you by
AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com.
Also brought to you by
Bell Nunnally, behind every great company. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. Volleman's Dairy, the official milk of the Dallas Cowboys. Tyson Foods, get your Tyson Cowboys Star Nuggets available now. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here's Eric Chiafalo and Brian Broaddus.
Here we go. We're under an hour away from kickoff here at AT&T Stadium. Zach Wolchuk in for Eric Chiafalo, alongside the Super Bowl winning scout, Brian Broaddus, the official pregame show of your Dallas Cowboys, brought to you by Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll go inside the numbers, brought to you by SeatGeek here in just a moment, as this place is ruckus. It always is when it's Cowboys and Eagles, and this is a big one for your Dallas Cowboys. We just got our actives in inactives. If you missed that, the big news is Jonathan Mingo making his debut as the Cowboys activating Mingo, and Jalen Tolbert is the one who will be inactive. No Perrion Winfrey either. Just the numbers game, as Christy told us, as he will be inactive, but Solomon Thomas will be back, and Jadeveon Clowney good to go. Cam Jurgens also good to go for the Philadelphia Eagles, but they don't have Lane Johnson. It's Fred Johnson starting in his spot. But certainly one where we talked about some of the five-man lines where maybe the Cowboys can play, get some matchups in their favor, and offensively, they're going to have to find a way to get this done. It'll be fascinating to see what Quinyon Mitchell, is he matched up on George Pickens? Is he matched up on CeeDee Lamb? It was Pickens in week one, and then as CeeDee started to toast him, they switched Mitchell over. How do they decide to play that with him and, of course, Cooper DeJean in the secondary there? But a lot of moving parts as this Cowboys defense, certainly a different group and healthier than they've been throughout the entire season with guys like Carson and Revel back.
Yeah, it was initially in that game, Vic Fangio took Quinyon Mitchell and put him on George Pickens the first 18 routes of the game. And so then all of a sudden, CeeDee started playing really, really well. And then he turned around, and the adjustment that he made, and this was probably after the weather delay too, he went and covered him with CeeDee Lamb. He took Quinyon Mitchell. Mm-hmm. That's now, how is he going to start the game? Where Dallas needs to figure out, and Dallas is the way that they need to attack, is they could go try and make sure that they stay opposite. Dory Jackson has been playing better, and so that's to me, that's the direction. Mitchell is a guy who's going to play tight man coverage. He shows the ability to run with you, though. He's very, very competitive. Both receivers can make catches. Yeah. I mean, the ball placement with Dak has been really, really good. But you really kind of want to stay away from DeJean in the slot, and you want to stay away from Mitchell on the outside. And then that means, if Adoree Jackson's out there, or even Kelee Ringo, you see a number 7 out there, that's the direction you need to go.
Yeah, then they feasted on Adoree Jackson week one. Kelee Ringo, a guy that was always susceptible to double moves when you watched him play back in college. Going inside the numbers here, how about zone coverage, right? So under Matt Eberflus, the Cowboys have run the 5th highest rate of zone coverage. That has adjusted a little bit in recent weeks, running a little bit more man. But Jalen Hurts against zone coverage, 17th in completion rate, 22nd in yards per attempt, and 18th in touchdown rate. He is very average. So maybe the zone coverage aspect today, which Kalen Carson has exceeded in, not bad against one Jalen Hurts. Certainly worked week 1. It was his legs that did the damage against Dallas.
Yeah, you've got to figure out another thing you have to be really, really careful about is blitzing this guy, because what he'll do is we've seen him run around and buy a second or third chance. Nobody holds the ball in the league longer than him. So that's what you got to be very, very mindful of. Like him running around and then him. But when you blitz him finding Smith. Smith is his go-to guy when it comes to the blitz stuff that they do.
All right, let's get to our coach's corner. Brian Schottenheimer sitting down with Brad Sham. That's next here. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Miller Lite, the legendary light beer. The originator, the inventor. If this beer could talk, it'd tell stories about that one time.
right, we are about 40 minutes or so kickoff here at AT&T Stadium. Cowboys and Eagles. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout Brian Broaddus as we are live here in the Miller Lite West Plaza, as this place has been absolutely popping all afternoon long. It is absolutely beautiful. There's a light breeze. It is football weather here the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and a big NFC East tilt as the Cowboys, in what is a game they've got to have, taking on the Eagles. But it's time now. Well, let's hear from Brian Schottenheimer, who is with Brad Sham, brought to you by Gillette, the official shave of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's our Coach's Corner.
Fellas, thank you. The Cowboys actually are home for 2 games in the next 15 minutes. It'll be it'll be quite a week going on here. I think I just have to ask you if there was any player reaction to CD and George last week. You did what you had to do. They've also got to answer to the locker room. How was that? How's that been?
Yeah, I think there was we addressed it in Monday's or whatever meeting we had, whatever day that was, we addressed it. And again, I feel like I made it very clear, just kind of our stance. And the things that they talk about and work out on their own is, what they do. And that's what, having a strong relationship and culture does to a team. And I'm sure there's been discussions, but nothing that I needed to get involved in.
Okay. Did you feel like you were watching a whole new defense out there Monday night?
At times I did, but I really felt comfortable and confident going into the game, Brad. I think the way we practiced in our preparation for Vegas wasn't just obviously the addition of Quinnen and some of the new pieces, but it was getting guys back, Demo and, Revel and Kalen Carson stepping into a role. But, I felt confident getting onto the plane, heading out to Las Vegas because of the way we had practiced. And as you know, practice is really important to me. And but yes, there was a confidence that we need to continue as we push forward and have to stack some wins.
You didn't sound surprised that Carson played so well. He played pretty well the week before. No, he's not on anybody else's radar except for maybe your team. What gives you the sense that can be continued?
The growth I've seen. I mean, we obviously saw him have success early last year before the injury, and he's come off of a really kind of a bumpy road with injuries. And when we challenged him a few weeks back about doing things with more urgency and a little bit more focus, he really took it to heart, and it's proven in the way he's practiced, the way he is attentive in meetings and notes and things that he takes. And when you do that and you feel like you're prepared, you go into games with confidence. And I think that's what you saw as a young man that played with a lot of confidence.
Of the new people, including the returning from injury, did Logan Wilson have the most difficult task because of the communication that he's asked to take care of when he's wearing the green dot, and how much gain has he made in a week?
Yeah, I would say definitely, just because of the position that he plays and having to make the calls as a green dot and the adjustments. But he's super smart. He picked it up really fast, and there's other guys that help him. Even if you do get a little bit tongue-tied or you're a little bit unsure, there's other guys that are going to help those guys out. No different than what happens on offense with the quarterback if there's a formation or something. It's not easy.
Between Overshone and Revel, who is most ready for more snaps today?
Again, I think you'll probably see both guys play about the same as last week, and the only reason that is because we turn around here and play here in a couple more days, and that's all part of it. But they'll both probably get a few more. But we kind of hit the target last week, and that's what we're trying to do again this week.
Okay, last one. These teams both seem vastly different, and to the untrained eye, much better than week one. Which of you do you think has improved the most?
Well, hopefully it's us. And again, their record would say that they've played more consistently than we have, and they've found ways to win games. And that's what a team that's been together for a couple years should do. We're still kind of learning together and adding pieces and things like that. But again, I think that if we can play with the consistency that we played last week against Vegas, I love our chances moving through today's game and beyond, and knowing we put ourselves a little bit behind the 8 ball, and we have to go play well and win one game at a time. But it's time to start stacking wins.
All right. I'll save that for Thursday. Have fun today.
Yeah, we're already there. We're going to be having this conversation again in a few days, so I appreciate it. I'll take it again then. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you. All right, fellas, back to you.
Thank you, Brad. There he is, Coach Schottenheimer with the voice of your Cowboys, Brad Sham. And certainly he's right. I mean, the consistency there's been the lack of. And now's the time where you've put yourself in a spot where it might already be too big of a hole to dig out of, but if you want to give yourself at least a chance, you got to stack them up here. And you just take them one game at a time, but this is an Eagle team that finds ways to win. And you're going to have to, we've talked a lot about the defense, but I know you've highlighted Dak's struggles against Vic Fangio, 1-3 in his career against Vic Fangio defenses. Eagles are tied with Denver and KC, allowing the fewest touchdown passes this season at 9, including a league low 3 in the red zone. They're the only team to allow a touchdown pass on 3rd or 4th down as well. So the offense is the one side of the ball that we felt this can be a special group. They can be among the best in football. The offensive line, how do they play today? Tyler Guyton was hit with his growth. The continuity inside with Booker and Beebe and Smith. Steele held his own last week. But they're going to have to make sure they give Dak time so that he can ball out today and find Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson, Flanoy, and etc.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure, and there's always pressure on this Cowboys offensive line. And it's going to have to be with BB. Booker was making his first start in week 1. I think that, I talked about that Donovan Ezeracco kind of understanding what it's like to go against Jordan Mailata. I think Booker has an understanding, too, of what it's like to go against those two guys, Davis and Garner, inside in the way that they play. And it's, it could be very eye-opening. It could be very jarring to the system. And they've done a really nice job, though, of kind of getting this all to the point where these guys are playing at a high level, and they've got to show that balance today. They really, really have to show the balance to be able to win this game.
All right, let's get our Zebra report, and we'll hear from Jerry Jones in the owner's box. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
The National Medal of Honor Museum is now open in Arlington, Texas, just a few blocks from AT&T Stadium.
Broaddus, just to update you quickly, we do have the Giants holding on to a 3-point lead on the road in Detroit against the Lions, 27-24, and the Colts are nursing a 3-point lead, 20-17, on the road against the Chiefs. Of course, those are the next two Cowboys opponents. And a loss for Detroit would put them at 6-5. Certainly impacts things in a crowded wild card standing where the Cowboys are trying to get back into that thing. They need to win today, of course, against the Eagles. But right now, let's go ahead and hear from our owner's box, Jerry Jones with Christy Scales, brought to you by Yeti, official cooler of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Take it away, Christy.
Jerry, coming off that big win in Vegas and such a good run by your Cowboys defense in that, how much better is your defense today than in week one when you went up to Philly and played them almost to a man-to-man to a team?
Well, I watched that Philadelphia game that we opened the season with, watched it completely last night, and we played a pretty good game. And as a matter of fact, our defense is playing better than we've played since, except for against Oakland. And we can do some things that we did in that game, and if we do them, mainly not turn the ball over, then I feel pretty good about we're better defensively. We know where to go better. We've got better structure and our knowing how to stay in our lanes, those type of things. Now, I don't want to sound like a coach, but we're better to play them today than we were opening game. So we'll see how it goes, but we're going to put it all out here tonight.
What did you like best from Quinnen Williams there along the D-line?
What did I like best about the D-line?
About Quinnen Williams and how he played Monday.
What did I like best about the D-line? Quinnen Williams, but I sure was pleased with how the others stepped up and played as well. Osa had his best game yet, and Solomon will be in there, of course, with us tonight. I think he'll be in there. But the bottom line is that we've got a good chance to play better in the defensive line.
I want to ask specifically about your rookie corner, Savone Revel, because he played limited but played very well, and we know he's going to get a lot more snaps and be out there when it's nickel situations and maybe even get some base defense. What is it that you liked about Revel and why he merits more playing time?
Well, he's obviously would be better in man than in zone right now because that takes more practice. But still, we've seen all along he's an exceptional athlete. We thought he was one of the better, if not the best, D back in the draft. He did look recovered. He'll get more snaps tonight, and he's for tonight and long term. Cowboys are glad to have him now.
What do you see as the key for your offense tonight? This Eagles defense, the last two games combined, have given up only 16 total points.
We have a lot of respect for their secondary, so we'll choose our spots if we try to make the big play, but we've got to pick them apart.
We appreciate it. Thanks so much, Jerry. That's the view from the owner's box as we continue counting down to Eagles-Cowboys kickoff inside here at AT&T Stadium. Let's go back out to the plaza and rejoin Brian and Zach.
Thank you very much, Christy. Let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds for station identification across the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD-FM and HD1, Dallas-Fort Worth.
An Odyssey sports station.
All right, let's get our Zebra report in quick. Aero Exterminators bringing you that, the official pest control provider of the Dallas Cowboys. What are we looking at, Brian?
Bill Vinovich, your official. He was your official in week 2, the game against the Giants that was here. That was a penalty fest, so hopefully that won't be the case. Bill's crew they've officiated 10 games. They are the 4th most when it comes to penalties called during a season. Where you have to be very mindful is the offensive holding calls. It seems to favor the visiting team more than the home team with the offensive holdings. Defensive pass interference, once again, a lot of home calls there. Delay of games, that's 5 and 5. We talked about that earlier with Dean Blandino. Have to get the offense going, have to be able to get things lined up, have to be able to get Dak to play. Keep an eye on unnecessary roughness. This crew usually does not like you to have some chippiness to it. That's a 4 and 4. They've had 8 of those calls, so keep an eye on unnecessary roughness. And a big one for Bill Vinovich is roughing the passer. Keep an eye on that one. He tends to call it more on the visitors than he does the home team.
Okay.
So those are things you need to be worried about today.
All great information, our Zebra Report there with our Super Bowl winning scout, Brian Broaddus. All right, let's go inside the booth with Brad Shamlin. We'll get our keys to the game from Christy Scales as we're getting closer to kick. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag.
are getting closer to kick here, 20 minutes away. Let's go inside the booth, brought to you by Windstar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly. We've got your legendary voice of the Cowboys, Brad Sham. And Brad, a lot of new faces, especially on defense for both these teams. What are some of the things that you're looking for if the Cowboys are going to come away with a victory this afternoon against the Eagles?
Well, first of all, are you feeling okay?
I'm doing good. I'm all right.
Okay, because Broadus is really concerned. He can't handle that alone for the rest of the day without Eric or you. So, I mean, look, the answer to your question is I don't know. But if you just look at the games that are being played right this minute, Zach, they're all 3-point games. And some of them you would look at the teams and you say, how is that possible? Both of these teams are dramatically better on defense than they were in September when they met in week 1. I mean, if the Cowboys are going to win, they are going to have to be error-free. They're going to have to find a way to run the ball a little bit so that they can throw it. And the offense is probably not going to score 30 points, but they just can't make mistakes, and then I think they've got a chance.
When it came to your visit with Brian Schottenheimer, obviously gave us some insight on the pitch counts, probably for Oberschon and Revel. Anything else stand out from your visit with the coach?
I think they're confident. I think they've had a good week. They'll have another Marshawn Nealand memorial to begin the game, and the players are still carrying that, and they will. But I think Schottenheimer's handled the week pretty well, Zach. They haven't had a padded practice. It was a short week. It was an emotional week. And I think that they've handled meetings and walkthroughs in a way that's where they get their information right now about what the team is doing. So I think other than that, the script kind of writes itself.
Brad, thank you so much. We'll be listening. Have a great call. We'll catch up with you later.
Have fun.
Will do. There he goes. Brad Sham with us here on the official pregame show of the Dallas Cowboys. Zach Wolchuk with the Super Bowl winning scout, Brian Broaddus. We got a lot of mess, a lot of trash talk going on right now. Let's get our keys to the game from Christy Scales, brought to you by Pollock Aurora, proud supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Christy, hey, it's an afternoon game. There's going to be a glare. We going to get anything here with the sun or any effect of the weather here?
Yeah, well, talking with the Cowboys staff, and they do measure these things and do a lot of research on it. And because it is a 3:25 kickoff late in November, the sun, we've got a little bit of an overcast sky now, but if the sun peaks out, the issue will be in the second quarter mainly. So we should be scot-free in the second half in terms of sun field. And so it's not going to affect whether or not, with the coin flip, whether they defer or take the ball first. The last time we had a 3:25 game, the sun actually affected that decision. If they win the toss today, they'll probably defer like they normally do.
Any other keys to victory here, Christian, that's standing out to you before we leave?
Yeah, red zone. That's a strength for Philly. They're number 1 in the league in the red zone, 75% touchdowns, and that's a real Achilles heel for the Cowboys defense. So, strength versus weakness there. And I think that you have to steal possessions this game. I think it's going to be pretty low scoring. So the Eagles have only had 4 giveaways all season. The Cowboys haven't had that many, but the 8 takeaways they have so far have led to points every single time. So it's cliche, but turnover battle is crucial today, as is special teams. Flip the field, get in better field position, short field for your offense against a tough Philly defense.
You're the best, Christy. Thank you so much. We'll be listening.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Brian.
There she goes, Christy Scales, giving us the scoop there. It is tied. The Lions have kicked a field goal to tie it at 27 with under 30 seconds to go. Looking like overtime. Chiefs also on the verge of possibly the game-winning touchdown with a minute to go. They're at the 2-yard line, first and goal with Indy. Prediction time, Brian.
Yeah, I think Vic Fangio does have Dak Prescott's number. Philadelphia 24, Dallas 20.
All right, walk it off. Brandon Aubrey, 27-24. Give me the Cowboys. I think defensively they find a way to rattle Jalen Hurts, and they do actually force his second interception of the entire season, and it'll be the rookie, Savone Revel, who gets that one done with some pressure from your new Cowboy, Quinnen Williams, setting up the walk-off field goal. Thank you so much. Zach Wolchuk alongside the Super Bowl winning scout, Brian Broaddus, will be back for halftime. Post-game going until 9:30. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change. No huddle, no overtime.